Before starting this video, I wanted to make you guys aware, over 80% of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed. So whether you're brand new here, this is the first video you've ever seen from me, or if you've seen one or two videos, or you're a longtime supporter of my channel, make sure you're subscribed. Every bit helps. Thank you so much. Enjoy the video. What's going on, guys? J-Hoyd back with you today. Welcome back to episode number 18 of our franchise mode with the Anaheim Ducks. We are back here at the midway point of our season, and we are in a really interesting spot. So last year we did incredible, right? We had 54 wins, like 20 losses. We dominated. We got to the Stanley Cup final. This year, we're back to kind of having a little bit of trouble. So we're not in an awful spot, but we are not in a great spot either. So we are 24-15-2. Last 10's been good, 7-3. We have our superstars performing, but we are at that point of the year right now where if we don't make a big splash either at the deadline or before the deadline. So after taking a look at the standings and the stats in the last video, we sit in an okay spot. But right now we need to lead up to the trade deadline, potentially make a move or two to kind of balance out everything, and we'll go from there. So we'll kind of go a couple weeks at a time here. A fourth in Bowers for fifth and a sixth, probably not. No reason to really trade him away there, especially for a couple of draft picks. Let's build up the wins here, though. We need to build up some points and get back into the top three there. Get above the wild card spot, build us a little bit of a cushion to give ourselves a little bit more of a safety net rather than waiting till like the final 2 or 3 games to clinch a spot. So I know I did see our team. We're fighting a pretty good battle here, right? Between first place and kind of the only teams that are kind of in contention is about 13 points, which again is like a good 5 or 6 games in a row can lead us to that spot. So 60 points, we're basically in a 3-way tie for our third place in the division, along with the 2 wildcard spots. And looking at the other Western Division is, they're a couple points behind, but still, we don't want to get down there too early. So we have a bit of games here, like 7 or 8 or something before the trade deadline, maybe even more than that. Let's get up to it, though. We're going to the 4th of the month in March, and we need to build some wins here and secure some of these points. King and a 5th for a 4th and a 5th, not worth it, right? He's young. He probably will build his trade value up a little bit more, and he's actually doing pretty well for a 4th liner. So we're going to keep him there. All right, that 4-game losing streak did not help our cause for sure. All right, let's get past this Calgary game, and then we'll probably call it good for there. So sitting, I'll say, at the trade deadline, 1 game away, but is that 1 game really going to make a difference? Probably not. But where do we sit? 74 points, so we sit in second in our division, but again, we're in a really tight race with us, Vegas, the Canucks, the Sharks, and the Kings, all within 5 points of each other, and it looks like 70 points is the second wild card spot. So yeah, we need to secure some of these wins. Let's go take a look through the trade block, see if there's anything of value that we really could get, and kind of see what's out there on the market. I mean, what's a little bit more depth if it goes, that works. Traded away Shane Bowers and a really random prospect that would not have been re-signed, along with a 7th round draft pick over to the LA Kings for Elias Anderson, who will be a kind of 4th line, a little bit more flexibility type player. And this is exactly why I love the trade deadline. You never know what you're gonna find. And although every trade I've attempted to make go through has been players that have already had a few years on their contract still and not necessarily a 1-year rental. Well, this is one of those trades that, if it works out, it will be a really good trade for us. And if it doesn't, then I guess you'll probably never see it anyway. But either way, so what this trade is, we have 2 top AHL defensemen, somewhat younger, both somewhat doing really well. and along with King, who's playing our fourth line, which we do have replacements for, so I'm not really too worried. Along with Baldwin, who I've tried in every single trade because he's a 57 overall, 20 years old already, medium top 4 potential, and he has trade value. So he's been in every single trade I've tried just for trade value reasons. And getting back in this trade would be Marcus Pedersen, not exactly sure, but he would be a top 4 defenseman for us, would replace the guy with the name I can't pronounce, along with a random AHL left defenseman in Joel Arison Eck, 87 overall, second line, not necessarily doing super great this year, but he's kind of getting pushed out and his trade value is kind of a little bit low. So will this go through? Probably not. We're going to try to throw a draft pick in there. We got it to go through. So we removed the retained salary from Pedersen and we added in a third-round draft pick, and it goes through. That is a massive trade. We got a top 4 defenseman and I'll say top 9, but top 9 doesn't really do it justice. We just made a great trade. Well, it never hurts to have too much depth, and that's what we're going to get in this one. So we're trading away Andre Kasha along with Brendan Tracy. It's time for him to go. I know I said it before. It's just time, right? 25 years old, 81 overall. We don't really have a spot for him here. And with how good our team is now, after we just did all the lines, yeah, he ain't getting a spot anytime soon. So we're going to be trading away, trading for Riley Smith, right? He's going to be actually playing on our fourth line, but he's not really doing that well this year. Plus, he's really good defensively, along with Cole Lind, who's just another kind of, I'll say depth piece, more of a two-way, gritty, penalty killer type guy instead of Kasha, who is listed as a sniper. So will this go through? Yes, it does. I probably could have gotten some draft picks in there, but let's go put these guys in the lineup and see if there's anything else out there. So following a relatively big trade deadline, we did make I would say a decent splash, getting 2 kind of big name players and kind of fixing some of the fat, if you will. So team looks a tiny bit different currently, and as far as Bertuzzi and Strome go, we're gonna hold on to them for now. Maybe we sign them to like a 1-year extension, try to trade them in the offseason type of idea. I'm really kind of hoping that doesn't bite me in the butt here, of not getting rid of them at this deadline. But with how strong this forward group is, we have the depth that would be fine. But at the same time, trying to find pieces for both of them is very difficult. So I wanted to trade them together to get 1 or 2 players back. But at the same time, then we got Eriksson Ek, who kind of was like, all right, so they're in a good spot there. So we did that. Our defense looks pretty much the same. Obviously, Pedersen being up there on the top line now with Drysdale, adds a little bit extra to our defensive core. I tried to find an upgrade for our third line spot here for Anderson, but there was just nothing on the market, like literally nothing. Goaltenders remained the same. And then we traded away some of our AHL pieces, whether it was in the bigger name trades or as far as just super minor trades that I probably won't show you anyway. But for now, we're going to keep this rolling, and I don't feel like I need to do anything else. So we'll just continue on just like this. Well, we forgot to take it off pause, but we sit here at the end of the regular season, at the start of April, and we are in a really, really tight spot. And when I say tight spot, we sit at 81 points with, 8 games left, and we are in probably like a 6-way battle for wild card and for third in our division. So we got a big month ahead of us. And when I say big month, I mean big last month. So we got some big name games ahead of us, and unfortunately we're going to be doing it without without Sorokin. We did sign Stellaris again. He was still a free agent. So yeah, we're in a spot here for sure. Continue that. All right. So yeah, 87 points. We're gonna have to almost do this one game at a time here. So 87 points. We're tied with the Knights. Oh, wrong screen. There we go. 87 points with the Knights. We're 5 off the Sharks. So we're kind of past the Sharks. And the last wildcard spot's at 87 and 89. So as long as we get third in our division, we're good. But we still need to win some games here. So we're against the Kings, who are down there a little bit. But let's win versus these guys. There we go. 89 points now. So 94 clinched. Where are we now? So that's Atlantic Central. There we go. So 89 points is the lowest, or 87, sorry. So Nashville Predators, they are in the Central. So they're at 84, so not far off. We got some tough games here. Another win. Let's go one more day here to get to the Kings. So who else is locked in here? So 94 locked. So 91 points is the last wild card. No, 89 points is the last wild card. So we face off against the Kings, who are kind of down there, the Oilers, who are top of our division, and the Knights. That's some pretty darn heavy games here. All right, let's beat the Kings. Right, we're supposed to beat them. All right, that's big. And we clinched. Okay, that's what's most important. We clinched a playoff spot no matter what. Now, as far as, so Coyotes made it in 93. So now it's just who's going to be in here at the very end. Let's beat the Oilers. We won in versus overtime. So do we still have a team that... So if the Knights win, they're in, obviously. If they lose, I almost wonder what the tiebreaker is there. But it doesn't really matter for us, right? We're in no matter what. Finish out the year on a good note. Oh, no, got injuries. All right, cool. So we finish out the regular season at 46 wins, 31 losses, and 5 overtime losses. 97 points. Oh, and it does look like at the end, the Stars do get the last playoff spot for the wild card. So that win versus the Knights at the end ended the season for the Knights. That's crazy. All right, let's go take a look at all the stats and kind of wrap up the year and start prepping for the playoffs. So no real surprise who's on top of our team, both Ehlers and Zegras. I'll say a little bit of a down year for Terry. For 90 overall, a little bit down from what we had last year, but again, 60, like high 60s, early 70 points is kind of also what we're expecting from him. With obviously Ehlers and Zegras there. You know, it's hard to get points. Strome finally turned it around, 67 points. Like I said, hopefully we can sign him to like a 1-year extension and then end up trading him in the offseason just to kind of get a decent return back for him. What else do we got? Bertuzzi kind of turned it around as well. Mercer, DeBrusk played all games, 51 points. I mean, that's solid for a third line. McTavish with a little bit of a down year, but again, we got a lot of people on top of him that are making, or that are getting a lot of points. Pro came back, you know, early into the season, did okay, but still, we'd like a little bit more out of him. Erickson, I mean, 7 points in 19 games, play on the fourth line majorly, and then on the third line at the end of the year once we lost DeBrusk. Smith did fine, 8 points, 19 games. I mean, again, fourth line, not, you know, solid. Anderson, all those points and everything are from us, so again, not crazy, right? It's what we expect from them. Drysdale with another, I'll say solid year, but again, he's kind of like plateaued at this mid-30s and okay plus minus with not a lot of like power play like time. So I mean, I just want a little bit more from him. That's all, just a little bit more. Peterson came over. I mean, 1 point. Not really expecting him to get points at all. But everyone plus in the plus minus category, which is perfect. Goaltenders, Sorokin, like a little bit better out of him at the end of the year. Dostal was our guy. Stellaris there as well. But, you know, pretty straightforward as far as our regular season player stats went. Let's head over to the entire league. So we finished 10th overall, 97 points, 46, 31, and 5. Now let's go through it. 267 goals for. Good enough for just probably about halfway. Goals against, number 10, or towards the bottom, so that's good. But I'd like to have that margin a little bit more, right? That's too close for comfort, all within 20. Power play percentage. Our power play, I don't know what it was. We just could never figure it out this year. 13.5%. That's, I was going to say, definitely at the bottom 2. And whatever it is, a couple of the top teams couldn't figure it out on the power play. What do we got? Penalty kill, 82 point whatever percent. I mean, that's pretty solid, but again, not towards one of the top teams. Shorthanded goals for, I know we didn't have a ton. I know we had one of the best home records, right? Yeah, there we are. So 11 shorthanded goals, 25, 14, and 2. I mean, that's pretty much our record at the halfway point this year. 21, 17, and 3 away. 8, 1, and 1 in the last 10. So the last 10 was good. We won when we had to. We did lose Sorokin and DeBrusque to injuries, but like I said, we had more than enough depth to kind of to solidify our roster. So let's continue on, though. Last thing we need to do before we end the video is to figure out who we're going to be facing off in the second round, and it's the Vancouver Canucks. Now, have we faced them before? I don't remember. But the real question is, during the deadline, they were actually one of the teams that were trying to sell off a lot of the roster. So I don't know what the roster is going to look like after they went through the deadline. So let's go see. Vancouver, what do you got for us? Well, JT Miller, Connor Bedard, William Nylander, Elias Pettersson, and then surrounded by a bunch of random idiots. Well, all right. I actually tried to make a trade for Peterson or for Hughes. So it looks like they spent all their money on Bedard. Yep. And Pettersson, I think, is a pending UFA. But it looks like they spent a lot of their money on their big names. And I think they're struggling for some money to try to pay for actual decent players. Goaltender, Bennington. All right. What did he do this year? 36-24. I mean, solid. I can't really say too much about that. Forsberg, I mean, solid as backup. So, I mean, I feel like we have the better team here, right? Because, I mean, we have a solid team all throughout our forwards. I would say we definitely win the defensive battle because we have a well-rounded defensive core. So I feel like we have the edge. But again, what was the record? 45, 29, and 8. So similar records, but I feel like we have the better team, plain and simple. So things we got to look out heading towards into the playoffs is we're without Sorokin for about a month with a broken hand, and we're without DeBrusque for however long. So we're sticking with the team we got. We got a good shot to beat Vancouver, and the next video will be all of the playoff push. But that's going to do it for today's video. We're ending on a good note right before the playoffs, where we should be in store for a really good playoff run. But like I said, that's going to do it for today's video. If you did enjoy, hit the like button down below. Make sure you're subscribed. We're closing in on 250 subscribers. So if you haven't yet, or if you're brand new here, or just haven't yet, make sure to hit that button down below. And as always, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
In the shadows.